JackChick's world has been called a nightmare. JackChick's world has been called a nightmare. Chick's sinners say Bunk, I don't need Christ until they are threatened with the lake of fire. Chick's sinners say Bunk, I don't need Christ until they are threatened with the lake of fire. Yes, there are tracts tailored for black audiences where the characters say Wassup. Yes, there are tracts tailored for black audiences where the characters say Wassup. There are chick tracts for every culture and for women. In spite of the fact that JackChick saw most of the world's populations as irredeemable sinners, he still tried to reach as wide an audience as possible with his comics. He not only translated his comics into over 100 languages, he also adapted the images to appeal to different cultures. In European countries, This Was Your Life features a white Corvette owner. Other versions focused on Asian men, Indian men, or African men. Chick's works tended to see women as victims. They were targets of evil men or objects of desire. In two versions of This Was Your Life, aimed at white women and black women, JackChick reveals his view of women in the sins they commit. While the men in Chick's version tell dirty jokes and leer at women, the women participate in bisexual orgies, practice witchcraft, and abandon their families for a guy named Todd. Chick tracts are available in over 100 languages. Chick tracts weren't just aimed at English-speaking children. JackChick's works have been translated into over 100 languages, guaranteeing that they reached a wide audience. And, at least according to Chick's publication company Chick Publications, the comics worked. They claim to receive hundreds of letters every year from people who converted because of Chick's work. JackChick believed his message was necessary regardless of where in the world it went. His website proclaims, "We love people of all religions. In fact, we love them enough to want to show them the joy of knowing the true creator." This was Chick's way of justifying his hateful comics. He was on a mission to save lives, and political correctness wasn't going to stop him. Jesus is no sissy, Chick declared.
JackChick's comics feel like they are trapped in the 1960s, fighting culture wars as the world leaves them in the past. For example, in a 1978 booklet called The Sissy, a macho trucker named Duke declares that Jesus was a sissy because he backed down from fights. A friendly, muscle-bound stranger teaches the trucker a lesson over diner food, finally convincing the man that Jesus was no sissy. Duke, if God Almighty could turn himself into a man like us with all that power still inside him, and some dude asked him to fight, who would win? Duke declares that it wouldn't be a fair fight, which convinces Duke that Jesus had more guts than any man that ever lived. Chick's simplistic reasoning: Jesus isn't a sissy because he could have hurt people, uses masculinity as a tool to drive men toward fundamentalism. The same argument appears in multiple tracts. Sinners are ugly, disgusting men, while Christians are always handsome, muscular, and smart. Real men, Chick implied, are Christian men.
Harry Potter initiates children into witchcraft.
One of JackChick's main targets was the occult. He even took on the Salem witch trials to explain how Satan falsely accused innocent people to smear the good name of Puritanism. And in 2001, Chick took on Harry Potter, writing, "Harry Potter provides a basic initiation into witchcraft for a whole new generation. Imagine what the world will be like when they grow up." As part of Chick's campaign,
He lamented how easy it was for young children to find occult materials at school. He even targeted Scholastic, Inc. When the name Harry Potter is keyed into the Scholastic website search engine, it returns 268 matches. Jesus returned only 23. To counterbalance his perception that forces of evil were marketing to children, Chick himself produced nearly 1 billion comic booklets to brainwash children.
Chick used comics to spread his conspiracy theories.
Catholicism, according to JackChick, was one of the biggest enemies of salvation. According to Chick, the Catholic Church keeps the name of every Protestant church member in the world in a big computer at the Vatican so they can be persecuted. The Catholic Church created communism and the Ku Klux Klan to cover up their conspiracy. Chick's paranoia didn't stop with Catholicism. In The Little Bride, Chick claims that Muslims are recruiting new members at elementary schools and calls Mohammed a pedophile. Chick ultimately blamed Catholicism for Islam, claiming that Islam was a daughter of Catholicism, along with communism and Nazism. Chick's conspiracy-mongering, hateful comics were read by millions of teenagers, which is exactly what JackChick wanted.
Hippies drove JackChick to publish his first comic.
In the 1960s, JackChick was working at Astro Science Corporation in California. He decided to draw his first comic booklet, Why No Revival, but publishers refused to print the book, so Jack did it himself. Chick was inspired to spread his message when he saw a group of hippies on the side of the road. He later said, at the time, I didn't like teenagers or their rebellion. But, all of a sudden, the power of God hit me and my heart broke, and I was overcome with the realization that these teens were probably on their way to hell. He pulled over and began crying, and wrote his first soul-winning gospel tract called A Demon's Nightmare. In the booklet, a young man converts to Christianity in spite of his mother warning him that praying will ruin his trousers.
Chick wasn't shy about attacking other religions, even other Christian ones.
JackChick believed that Jews, Muslims, Catholics, Buddhists, and everyone but evangelical Christians were heading straight to hell. And he wasn't shy about letting them know how he felt. In a 1985 tract called Are Roman Catholics Christians?, Chick's answer was clear. Many Roman Catholics are doing their best to serve God and to please Him, he began. That is why this false religious system is so evil. In another tract called The Death Cookie, Chick claimed that the devil is the Pope's religious advisor, and that the Eucharist is actually a death cookie designed to deceive people. And that was only the start of Chick's anti-Catholic rants.
He believed Dungeons and Dragons was a gateway to witchcraft.
JackChick had strong feelings about popular culture. Over several decades, he battled against pop culture, warning teens that they were putting their souls at risk. One of his targets was Dungeons and Dragons. In his tract Dark Dungeons, first published in 1984, Chick explained how a simple game, played with a 20-sided dice, could easily lead children down the wrong path and even kill them. A simple, suburban game of D&D turns deadly when the dungeon master invites young Debbie to learn how to cast real spells. After all, her cleric has been raised to the 8th level. As Chick explains, intense occult training through D&D prepared Debbie to accept the invitation to enter a witch's coven. Debbie uses her evil power to make her father buy her new D&D manuals. But when Debbie's friend commits suicide because her D&D character got killed in the game, Debbie questions everything. Luckily, there's a handsome boy in a Letterman jacket ready to tell Debbie about Jesus saving her soul.
JackChick thought he was saving souls, but many called him a hate cartoonist.
Chick Tracts were small, 24-page booklets drawn like comic books, but the message was completely different from Archie or Batman. In Chick's comics, the enemies weren't a rival football team or even a demented Joker. Instead, the enemy was Satan, and he was everywhere trying to condemn teens to hell. Chick Tracts might be dressed up as comics, but they carried an evangelical message with a strong dose of conspiracy theory. Although JackChick was the most published author in his lifetime, he was convinced that enemies were trying to kill him. He refused to let people take his picture because he believed he was on multiple hit lists. He claimed that Muslims were sending him death threats. And all of this was because JackChick wanted to save people's souls using comic books. But the content of those comics has earned Chick the title Hate Cartoonist.
Hey guys, thank you so much for the support and likes and comments down below, and also thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to see you in the next video. Then take care, bye.